Hey guys, this is a video response, make it personal response to uh, both somebody that I've commented on. His name is Trenemy number one on YouTube. He's somebody that I've followed for some time now, 2, 3 months, and I would say he provides a lot of valuable information. He's very good, one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to the realm of steroid use. And to be honest, I keep an open mind when it comes to Trenbolone. It's one of those compounds that gets a bad rap, but I don't want to rely on what people say, whether it's good or bad or whatnot, because, like for example, for a long time people said Primobolan was weak and only chicks take it and whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like the next hottest thing. So it's like, and part of the whole bro science and in the bodybuilding community, there's different. I find there's different phases through the years of things that are popularized and things that are demonized, right? So whatever. I'll keep an open mind to Tremblo. That being said, it is notorious for being one of the strongest, the king steroid, correct? And it's also notorious for having some of the most side effects. I've heard it. I've never taken it myself, so okay, I can't speak from experience. I'll say that off the bat. But I've heard that it's almost like you're taking one of those spinning wheels, and it's like the number of like it'll land on a side effect. It could be crazy high blood pressure. It could be sexual dysfunction, and obviously genetics plays a factor in that, right? Some people might run treadmill and have no issues at all. Does that mean that it's totally safe? No, of course not. Does it mean that somebody had a very bad response? Does that mean it's dangerous? No, of course not. And like with anything, it depends on the amount you're taking and the duration you're taking it as well. That could cause and what other compounds you're taking too. Because how often not is it just run by itself? No, obviously not. It's run with other compounds and a whole bunch of other medication. I don't know, lots of things, right? But get right to the point. So, does Trenbolone damage your kidneys because Vigorous Steve said so? So here's trying to be number one in his video, and he responds to Vigorous Steve, which I'm sure many of you know who that is. He's a very prominent person in the anabolic steroid community, fitness community in general, and he takes a very scientific approach. So he, among others, labeled Trenbolone as being kidney toxic, correct? And so his response, trying to be number one, is that he has seen no evidence, and he does a very good job, evidence-based. Very, you can. I don't know what background he is, but he's a very smart guy. He provides evidence-backed approach, providing study examples, and whatnot that shows that there's no evidence that it is. And I'm sure a lot of people who take blood panels after taking Trenbolone, my kidney markers are totally fine. That's evidence that it is not kidney toxic. Great. Now, so I made a comment, my initial comment, and well, I'll say first of all, his conclusion was that it doesn't have to be kidney toxic if you keep your blood pressure in check and you keep your hydration in check. And yeah, that's for as far as kidney goes. Those are two main things that if you think about hypertension and high blood pressure over time, chronic high blood pressure, yeah, that's going to cause kidney issues, 100%. The second thing is hydration, especially on something like when you're taking anabolics to flush the system of, especially all these metabolites that build up in your system. I think that his point was that he gets like dark urine when he takes Tren, and a lot of time that's just because he's dehydrated because you night sweat a lot and things like that. So, okay, that's great and all. Now, my initial comment, which started with a conversation, was does that Tren cause high blood pressure and hypertension because that damages kidneys over time, right? And he addressed that in the video. So okay, we're in agreement there. Okay. It does. Like if you take, especially over time, if you were to say abuse, quote, whatever that means, taking high doses of Tren over time that cause high blood pressure without managing your blood pressure, I would almost like with all anabolics, like even myself, I was taking testosterone and Primobolan. My blood pressure was getting up to 150 over 90. That's not a good level to be at for an extended period of time. Like, that could cause not just heart issues, but like kidney issues over time. So, okay. And he literally said that in the video. Got that. And, but then I kind of, because I just wanted to provide, I'm not trying to debate I think I agree with everything they're saying, but the one thing that I would add to it is that just like a lot of other medications, to be honest, my background is health science. I studied, the effects of like pharmacology, especially on the body, but as well, just general nutrition. And anything in excess, you could really stress the kidneys, to say the least. Stressing the kidneys, taxing it, doesn't mean like you're gonna have kidney failure. Okay, obviously, but like, here's the thing: when you're taking high amounts of anabolics and things like even high protein content, which he mentioned in the video, you can tax the kidneys through metabolites that the body has to process, therefore increasing the workload and potentially having toxicity of the metabolites themselves. And I think there's something to be said about that. A prolonged use of anabolics, because anabolic, like, it increases nitrogen levels and potentially in the blood. No, not potentially, it does. And things like uric acid, which causes kidney damage, like with high protein use, but as well other proteins in the blood, which then your kidneys have to process. And there's a whole pathology that's involved in that I don't think he really addressed in this video, to be honest. So, yeah, and some people responded to that, including himself. And he mentioned that, his urine turns neon from his vitamins that he's taking, his B vitamins and multivitamins. I have the same myself. I take those. I understand that. Does that mean it's nephrotoxic too? No. It doesn't mean that, obviously. But even at excess doses of certain vitamins and minerals, that can definitely stress your kidneys, 100%. But, I don't think, just to kind of get to the conclusion, I don't want to address every little thing here. And I know people will be like, well, provide evidence. Let's see some studies on Trenbolone and the kidneys and things. No, that's not even what I want to address, because, like I mentioned even in my comments, like, I don't know that exactly. Okay, I can't provide studies. I don't even think there has been proper studies on that. And based on my response, I think there should be. And people are saying he's just guessing and things. Yeah, well, speculating. And aren't you allowed to theorize? That's part of science as well. Based on other things. I'm not just throwing things out in the air not based on anything. These are all known things, including with other steroids. Okay? And here's the thing. I'll get right to kind of why I think that could be the case, not just with Tren, but I think this is something to be said with all anabolics, and if you're taking any medication in excess, because medications end up in the blood. A lot of them do, especially ones you inject, right directly to essentially go right to the bloodstream. You could end up with hyperfiltration and glomerular sclerosis, which is scarring of the kidneys. You can end up with hypertension. Yeah, that's known, and he even knows about that. Kidney stress and perhaps direct toxicity, which potentially the steroids themselves in the excessive amounts that we're taking could damage, like the little nephrons, the little filters, and you only have so many of those. Once you damage enough, like, okay, if you damage like 25%, your kidneys could still technically function, but at a certain point, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to how many of those little guys you damage. And and I don't think I need to provide any more proof of the fact, other than for one, my major one's hypertension, right? that is 100% going to cause kidney damage. And if as long as if you don't get that in check with any type of steroid use that you're taking, then you're looking at over about, I would say within 20 years, there's a high likelihood that you're going to have kidney issues of some type. The other ones that I don't hear many people talking about is the increased metabolite and proteins that your kidneys have to process. Maybe that's something, I'm just going to pose a question that we need to look more into. That's it. I'm not saying that's 100% fact or anything, but just to have a reasonable conversation, and not even to debate. Like, I think it's just about, like, that's part of the beauty of YouTube, is being able to respond to someone kind of in real time who that we're at very much like a cusp, but like we're at a forefront, like a tip of the spear of this type of research. And a lot of the research are things that doctors have no fucking clue on. Like, to be honest, most doctors, if you went in and told them you were taking NPP, do they know what the fuck that is? No. Do they know all the mechanisms of action or know anything about it? No. Obviously, they might know some things, like once you explain, and okay, but the medical industry is barely taught anything, so don't expect to rely on studies to tell what is reality when it comes to things, especially with steroids. And I think this is the beauty of like someone like Trenemy #1, because he's providing kind of a case study here, his own case study, his own experiences as a mom. And then when we provide kind of our own evidence, then we can kind of not necessarily come to a conclusion, but theorize on different things. And I think that's part of the great conversation that can be had, especially with steroids, that it isn't part of the status quo mainstream yet, right? And we can, but part of doing so is investigating the risks, not just the rewards. We know what the rewards are, but the risks, there could be some hidden ones. And wouldn't it be a shame if you took something like Tren and 20 years down the road, it's like, oh, well, my kidneys don't work properly, I guess I need a kidney transplant, or it hurts when I pee. I don't know, who knows what could happen, right? So I would just hope that we have a degree of caution and not jump to conclusions that is totally safe either. But like I said before, it could be something that I'm consider taking in the future. So I'd hope to learn more from Trenemy #1. I hope to and him share. I'm looking forward to him sharing more of his experiences and research as well. So thank you guys for watching, and feel free to join my channel if you like and have more conversations with me about all types of different things. Thank you. Have a great day.